Well, the 2022 midterms are upon us. How's it all going to play out? Let's talk about it.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
I don't want you to ride. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the streets. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad.
Is the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
You have the luxury of not knowing what I know.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Hey, everybody. We're on today. Well, we're doing one a little bit early thanks to Election Day. Got my all-star cast on today. Jack is back, so we're getting the band back together. We got Ruben Rodriguez on, who's running for school board in Belleville, New Jersey. And then...
Go
ahead.
Home of Junior Soprano.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And then State Director for Convention of States Action, Mike Arnold. A pleasure to have you on. And so we're off, right, guys? So here, I mean, I'm looking at some of this stuff coming through now, and like my attitude, like maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but my attitude towards it is, if you're a Republican, you need to be up by like 15 points by nightfall, or the dead of night comes, and nothing good comes to that. Yeah. Mike, you were working a poll all day, weren't you?
I was. I started at 6:45 this morning, and I went until I think about 5:30, 5:45 this afternoon, and it was a huge turnout for my particular, actually all of Cape Cod. I think all of Massachusetts was a huge turnout. One of our towns had, I just got the update, 68% voter turnout, which is unheard of. It's usually 20%.
And that number is just from people showing up?
That's registered voters showing up to vote. That's
awesome. It's not like this, you know, with the mail-in voting, they'd be like, we got 100% participation. We got 130% participation.
Well, in 2020, Massachusetts statewide had, I believe it was 65 or 67% were mail-in or early voting. This past Friday, they released the numbers for this year, and it was 19% mail-in or early voting. Everybody waited until today to come out, which I think bodes awesome. Well.
That's awesome. And then something cool about the panel right here is we got Jack in Georgia. We got big races in Georgia over there with Herschel Walker, Kemp in the governorship, and then Ruben in Jersey. And frankly, my eyes today are on what may very well be my favorite politician running right now for anything, and that's Kelly Lake in Arizona. She's just like my hero. I just watch her tear up the media, and it's just beautiful to watch. Like the expressions on their faces when she tears into them, and like, did you guys see that clip they had with the CNN reporter asking her for an interview? It was great. She looks at us, she goes, hi, yeah. She goes, where's your mask? How come you're not wearing a mask today? And the lady's like, well, we're outside. She's like, yeah, but you're not within 6 feet of me. And just trolling her right from the get-go. She's like, I'll give you an interview, but it has to be on CNN Plus. She's because they shut down CNN Plus because nobody watched it. I mean, just trolled this chick and then went on to like tell her the organization she works for is garbage. But it was great to see. So like some of these races starting early. I mean, we put up here DeSantis is already called. Anna Paulina Luna, she flipped a House seat red in Florida, which is good. And that's really what I think we're trying to get out of today, with the exception. I know you have to, Mike, you have to be on on Convention Estates broadcast. I didn't even realize they were broadcasting too. So if you get any skinny on like local representatives that turned in our favor for the movement, by all means, let me know. You know what I mean? I want to be able to broadcast that too. So I know some of the dootadoos out there that we hope are gone, but like I don't know all of them. So like if there's some significant changes in some of these states, definitely shoot me a signal and let me know, what's going down with that. And then Jack, what's the atmosphere like in Georgia, man? You went and when you went to vote.
Well, so I'm in rural Georgia, and so very conservative part of Georgia. I'd like to comment on the election experience. Both my wife Kathy and I, we had a phenomenal experience. It was the most professional setup that we've ever seen. Now, obviously, coming from California, I'll give you just a prime example. Last year, my wife goes to the ballot box. She has my ballot, she has her ballot, and she grabs another one off the shelf and fills it out for my daughter. Nobody asked for her ID, and she takes them all and puts them in a box. Okay?
Yeah.
That's California. This morning
That's what
in
my
Georgia,
Newsom recall vote was like. I went in there with my wife's ballot and my ballot, and I'm thinking, all right, well, I should have to, someone's going to like check me. I got 2 ballots in my hand. Walked right into, now our city hall is not like a big grand city hall over here. It's in a strip mall, actually. but like, I walked in there. Nobody said boo to me. At the end of the counter, there was a box sitting by itself, nobody looking at it. And I walked back there. And I told her, I said, I have 2, because I like felt weird. I was like, I should say something. I'm like, I have 2 ballots. And she's like, okay. And just keeps going on doing what she's doing. Doesn't even walk to the end of the counter. I'm like, all right, but don't you have to like, like check them or something? Like, isn't there something you do? Scan them, something? It's like, no. She goes, is it signed? I was like, yeah, Scout's honor. She's like, all right, you're good. I could have had 10 in my hand, threw it in there. It would have been good.
Yeah, they didn't care. And so, what's interesting, the experience in Georgia, so it was at the firehouse, and I walk in the door, and as I get to the table, there's a number of people sitting at the table, and hi, how are you, sir? I'm great. How are you? Blah blah blah. They check my ID. May I see your ID? Yes. First things first. So they check my ID. Okay, please go see that man over there, and he's going to give you a little ticket. And then you're going to take that ticket and you're going to insert it into the machine, and it's going to pull up a card for you. And then you fill out the ballot electronically. You hit print, and then you're going to go over to see that man there. And so I fill out my ballot, standing in the booth, hit the print button, take it, walk over to the gentleman standing to my left, and he goes, okay. He goes, you can insert it into the machine now. He goes, and please stay here so you see that your vote is counted. I insert it into the machine. It goes click. It shows, it goes up 1 digit. He goes, okay, you're good. Go see that lady over there. You're going to get a little pin, and off you go. And it was just really professional.
That's good. I mean, it's not the process that I went through today in Cali wasn't that bad, but it's, I'm in a small conservative family oriented city here in Cali. It's not like I can't really speak for what's going on in LA and all that, but I actually like what they did. It's like a hybrid of computer and paper ballots. So like you just enter all your selections on a touch screen, but then it prints it out and then you review it and then you drop it as a paper ballot, which I kind of like. Ruben, what was it like in Jersey?
We have those stupid Scantron machines, but listen, I don't understand. Like, I've never had an issue voting ever in my life. And, like right now I live in Belleville, which is on the outskirts of Newark. George, I grew up in what AOC calls the South Bronx, but, to me it was the East Bronx. George is laughing because he knows where I live, and it's so not the South Bronx. but because we used to go to the South Bronx, and
Yeah,
and
she's too hardcore though.
yeah, she's so hardcore. She's so Yorkville for life. Um, but like I go in and we have a bunch of really old people working the counters, and me, I can talk to a fly on the wall, and they're so nice, and I fill out my thing, and boom, boom, boom. I did though, because running is a lot different, and it's an eye-opening experience. I had a lot of my supporters call me and complaining about some discrepancies. Um, for instance, in my district, in my town, we were running 6 people were running for 3 seats. So a lot of my voters, I asked them to just vote for me. And in this one area, the senior center, I got 3 or 4 reports where the people working the machine said, "Oh no, you have to fill out 3. You can't just fill out 1," which is a problem on 2 levels. Number one, that's not true. Number two, they're not supposed to look at your thing to tell you who to vote for.
Yeah, that's a good point
So
too. So for those that don't know, Ruben's running for the Board of Education in Belleville, New Jersey. So if you know anybody in Belleville, then by all means, get out to the polls. Ruben
well,
Rodriguez
it's
is your
closed.
guy. Oh,
It's
they're
closed,
closed now? Yeah, Cali time. My bad.
right? And it's not looking it's not looking hot. But again, I spent about a grand total of I think $110 on my campaign, and
Hey,
that was
man, that one guy won the state Senate seat, didn't he?
sure, yeah, it's my idol. But I went
He spent some Staples money. That was it, man.
at that spent about $20,000 on this election to get 3 seats on the Board of Ed that don't pay anything. So it's disheartening, wondering why anybody would pay that money for a position that doesn't pay anything.
Because the people paying, it's incredibly important. The people that are spending the money, like the Board of Ed, those positions, people like sleep on the importance there. But like, I mean, mama bears have been out everywhere, across the country, turning these boards over and recalling. But like in the end, that's one of those situations where people sleep on it. But who's not sleeping on it are these Marxists. They ain't,
Yeah,
Well,
the ones with the agendas and the book and the
Yeah.
books to sell.
they
Yeah.
ain't sleeping on it.
I wish I could say that was the case in my district, but it's not. It's become a political uh, a political indeed, where they just award people positions, and we create positions like for anything. Like we have a SEL director who makes $182,000 a year, and nobody literally knows what she does. And
That's ridiculous.
and she has an assistant who makes $92,000 a year. Our teachers are making 55, and
Sure.
and then we have construction contracts all over the town. Like
Hey, it's
we-
Jersey. You gotta
Right.
probably got some good garbage contracts out there too.
oh,
Sanitation is very
funny,
important.
George, all kidding aside, we in my town we rebid this year. We tried to get a new garbage contractor, so we
Yeah.
put out open bid, open to bid, and requested bids. Why don't you take a guess how many bids we got?
1.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bingo.
You want to laugh? When I was running Hula Hands in Jersey, we were opening a new store, and I was involved with I was sitting in with the discussion for who was going to handle the sanitation contract for the restaurant. And the truck, I'm not going to say the names of the company, but the truck that showed up clearly had a name on it that was not Italian. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Then the guy I meet, the owner, and he's missing a finger. I was like, this is so right out of an HBO special.
Yeah.
It's like so out of a Sopranos episode.
You got a complaint? Double your garbage back.
Yeah. So, Mike, have you gotten any word up until now about any impacts on the local races, or have there been any impacts with the people you've been dealing with in the state legislature as far as cause is concerned?
I haven't heard any results back. Our polls just closed 45 minutes ago. But one
Yeah,
thing
we're
that
still early.
did happen today, as I was standing in my polling place, the current representative, who is a Democrat, come and stood next to me, and I started chatting with him, and then all of a sudden, about 15 minutes later, his what I'll call handler showed up, and he and I stood there for about an hour and a half chatting, a good hour anyway. And I said, listen, if your guy wins today, you need to get him to reconsider convention of states, because I've got about 2,000 people in his district, and 2,000 votes is a lot of votes in a little district like ours. So his handler who used to be the rep in our district said he would do his due diligence to do his homework and get back to me soon with either their change in position or their reason for staying the course. So at least we had a really good civil discourse about it. And you know me, George, I'm all about making the connections with the representatives and chatting with them and talking with them, having civil discourse. So we had a really good conversation today, and I thought that was very positive.
Good. Yeah, and that's, look, that's how it starts, right? Like this, it's what I talk about all the time on these different episodes, is like, when it comes to it, a lot of these state legislators, they may understand the Constitution the way most people who love the country do, but they don't understand it on that level. And if they, a lot of these people, we had Kenneth Quinn on a week or so ago, who's got a really cool channel going, Knocking Around Robert Brown, and he, like you, was with JBS at one point and left when he did some reading, and was like saying how he used to go around handing these people DVDs, like handing legislators DVDs, like, hey, learn what this is and never support it, kind of thing. And so there's a lot of that has to get undone. And I think the way that starts is with things like you're doing, where you start the relationship, you know what I mean? Let them know what it's all about, answer the questions, quell the doubts, that sort of thing. So that's really important too. And I'm just looking forward. I'm hoping that through this cycle that, obviously I want to see the House and Senate turn, just so we have the proper blockers in place for all that, but for everything going on. But at the same time, I'm really more dialed in. Like, I'm more interested to see what happens locally in these states as far as their legislatures, because, just turning them red may not do the trick, right? We've learned that, like, just turning them red, they could turn red, but like, if they bought into the John Birch Society madness, it ain't gonna make a difference, So but I'm still waiting for some of these results to come through. Everybody's just kind of closing up on the East Coast, and I guess the next poll closes in 10 minutes. What's that?
What do you think? What do you think the Republicans have a better chance? We taking the Senate or we taking the House?
I would think the Senate, because it's statewide, as opposed to the small localities scare me, because the Democrats that have machines in place, like these machine apparatus where they've got the busing and because there's less votes that sway. The upside of the House is that, if the momentum is really there, all the buses in the world can't save them. But the downside is they do have machines in place that Republicans never seem to be able to match when it comes to ground game. I'm hoping that that's different this year. I don't know the situation in every single state, but I would think, the state Senate, the federal Senate is more susceptible to this wave that should be hitting. But look, I'm cautiously optimistic going into this, because again, while I feel like there should be a total red wave, and I don't know anybody who's not sick of all the crap we're dealing with, I can't help but think that there's always that element of the dead of night. The trucks show up, the mail-in ballots come in. We hear the story about how it's all Democrats that vote mail-in, and then we're supposed to be happy.
Scott.
They called who?
Tim Scott, South Carolina.
Nice.
And Fetterman is actually, if you want to lose your faith in humanity totally.
Yeah, Fetterman's killing it right now.
It's only 7% in, but the fact that even in at all is
insane. The guy can't put a thought together. It's like it, and I, look, there's an element. I almost feel this way about Biden sometimes when like his wife has to come and cut him off and grab his hand and walk him somewhere. It's like these people are mentally incapable, literally. Like it's not even like it's political hyperbole. It's like
Pennsylvania, and he would have won.
Yeah, I mean, bro. I mean, I see people on my Facebook has been inundated today with leftists. I don't even know why they're putting all this garbage in my feed. If it's really, I mean, I know why, but if it's really supposed to be based on stuff that you're into and stuff that, like, oh, this is customized, like there's no way all this garbage, but it's like batting practice, man. I'm just sitting there teeing off on these people. But at the same time, it's like, I don't even know if they're real, I listen. Some of the things they say are so bizarre that I don't even know if like it's like bizarro land, man. I'm listening to them compare Fetterman to like Stephen Hawking, and I'm like, are you people insane? Like you just put I don't know. I mean, you look at Biden, you're looking at Fetterman, and it's like there's absolutely nothing that these people could do. He could go up there and play with his lip for 30 minutes. They'll applaud and go vote for him. Some of these people.
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm just checking races while you're talking. Apparently, they just called, and this is Fox News, so I don't know how true it is, but apparently they just called Sarah Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas.
Really?
With 4% of the vote in.
Yeah, another thing I don't understand at all is how
she's up 71 to 26%. So,
it's 4% though.
Yeah. And then, hey, Mike, they called Healy in mass. Were you expecting that?
No, and our polls only closed an hour ago. There's just no way they can call Maura Healey the winner already. We haven't even been closed for 1 hour yet. I don't know how they can do that.
You should check out California.
Yeah.
Oh, they called California.
As you guys were talking, my wife texted me and said they called it for Healy, but I don't see how they can do that. We haven't even been closed for an hour.
Yeah, they can.
I mean, they called Illinois. They called Illinois with 10% in.
Well, they told us 2 months ago Maura Healey was our governor, so they called it 2 months ago.
But
I don't
know.
I don't understand how Michigan. Where's Michigan? And I don't tell me it's by the Great Lakes. I know where it is. I'm trying to find Hillary.
Yeah, I'm looking at this too. Sarah Huckabee, they called for. DeSantis is called, and then Ohio. Ohio looks like their governor went Republican with DeWine.
So far, the House election results is 44 to 24 called elections. So take that what it is. I mean, we should have done this podcast at 11 o'clock,
Well, it's all right, man. I got time. I know Mike's got to run.
Yeah, I know. 6 o'clock out there.
I'll be sleeping by then.
Yeah, Jack's too old to hang in there with us now. Like
I am. Yeah,
it's all good,
I need to get
Jack.
my Metamucil and close my eyes.
Oh my goodness! So let's see.
Time did New York close? Is New York not closed yet?
No.
New York is not closed yet. Dude, I saw one state was open till 1
New York
a.m.
closes at 9. Oh, well.
So here we got, he says, do we not like Herschel? We do like Herschel. I like Herschel anyway, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
so
I don't know how it's going to go down in Georgia. So we'll see.
Well,
I mean, that guy's pretty
right
heavy.
along line with Stacey Abrams.
What's that?
I think he's catching up. I think it's going to go along with Stacey Abrams. I think it's going to go right along. And Stacey Abrams is getting crushed right now. And Herschel's catching up. He jumped out to a slow. He was getting beat badly in the beginning. and now he's only down by like a point or two.
And you said Stacey Abrams is getting crushed?
Yeah, hold on.
George, go to that. Yeah.
Stacey Abrams, Georgia.
She was up last time I looked.
It's 53-46 with 46 in.
All right, so you know what it is. It's tough to make these look, without being Fox News, who apparently can call a race the second the doors close.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you're trying to be objective about it,
CNN.
I don't see the Georgia one yet, George.
Georgia.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Hold on.
All right.
Georgia's statistical.
There it is. There it is.
Georgia's statistical.
So 50. Brian Kemp is up now.
Brian Kemp is up, but this is the governor's. Herschel's for Senate, right?
Yeah.
So,
Herschel is down by like 15,000 votes.
Yeah,
It's
they're neck and neck right now.
48.
Wow.
I mean, that's just, with Herschel, just give him the ball. Run left, run right, run left.
I'm telling you.
Hey, man, I saw Herschel Walker play for the New York, New Jersey Generals in the USFL.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Doug Flutie was the quarterback. My dad took me to see it. Dude, it was fun, man. They did a lot of like weird stuff, but that was trippy, man. But yeah, Herschel Walker, I was kind of shocked to hear that he was going. He's not the most well-spoken dude in the world, but he's got a good heart. He's a good Christian. He's a good guy. I'll take the not so well-spoken, as long as it's not like Fetterman, not well-spoken, telling people good night when you should be saying hello.
Well-spoken and there's not speaking. There's two different things.
George, pull Massachusetts up on there.
I'm under Senate right now. Is that what you want to see?
Oh, no, I want to see the governor. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'll bring it over. So, governor. All right. Are we in?
Hey, so there's actually a COS event in not too far from me.
Should be here, shouldn't it?
Saturday, by the way.
Now what?
There's a convention estates event next Saturday by me. So I think I'm gonna pop my head in.
All right. So it doesn't look like anything was decided here.
Yeah, definitely connect with the New Jersey team. They got a good, strong team down there. The state director, Chris, is a good guy.
Chris? All right. Next Saturday, I think it's in Livingston, which is like 20 minutes from me. So I'm going to pop my head in for a little while.
Excellent.
Check it out.
So it looks like they called the race for Healy.
With 2% reported.
Yeah, 2.88 reported.
2.88. Wow.
Yeah. No, they can't. You can't call the race with only 2.88% reported.
Yeah. No.
Well, you know what it is. You know what they do is that they look at the counties and how they traditionally vote, and then they make assumptions. Now those things
they tried to gaslight it. They tried to gaslight us this morning, saying that there was going to be a low to no voter turnout, and I'm telling you, we had. At my precinct this afternoon, when my wife and I went to vote, we were number 922 and 923 at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and there was 3 hours left. And there's usually only 400 or 500 votes total at the end of the night when they close it. So they're totally trying to gaslight us here.
Oh, there's no doubt. They're taking all kinds of stuff going in there. So this Stamps is saying from Twitch, he says he supports abortion. No, Herschel Walker absolutely does not support abortion.
No. The funny part, hey, Mike, talking about numbers. So when I went in this afternoon, I was like number 351. Now the polls are still open till 7. I go in the afternoon. You know how many people are in my town? 900. So by the afternoon, a third of the entire city had already voted.
Exactly.
So we had a pretty good turnout.
Yeah. Same here. Like I said, 68% in Truro. That's unheard of for 68% of the voting public to come out.
Yeah. And
Sarah Huckabee ran for governor?
People. That's including kids.
Sarah Huckabee ran for governor, right?
Yeah. I'm going to take 5. I'll be back.
What state was she in?
Arkansas.
She was in Arkansas. She was another one they called with like not much. But yeah, I don't understand what goes into those friggin' early predictions. How could you like California, the 2020 election, they literally called California like 20 minutes after the polls closed. I'm like, there's 40 million people that live here. What pissed me off most is they were right. So either that's the history there is just like, to me, California, I always thought California was rigged anyway, so it don't matter. But I went out, I voted anyway, just in case it's not. I went out and voted. Got my groove on there. Looks like governors are going Republican pretty much. I mean, with the exception, I think it was of Michigan. The governors were going everywhere. Do they have a flipped? I could have swore I saw a thing that was like just flipped seats.
I mean, Michigan, she has a chance, bro. I mean, excuse me, Tudor has a chance because it's 54-44 with only 7% in, so they're not calling that. I think Whitman's going to lose, honestly. I really do. I don't think Whitman's going to win.
I just can't imagine. I mean, I do all these videos on mass formation and like explaining how people get, duped into this and how hardcore they are. But it's like, even though I know how it works, it still bugs me out to watch it in action. Like, it bugs me out that people are so into their team that they'll literally vote for someone who's mentally crippled before they'll break from their team. Like,
bro,
it's just crazy.
How people understand about who's running. The problem is that nobody, I mean, my family that is involved, I'm like, they just know who they're voting for. And I'm like, I mean, when you're given a choice between Dr. Oz, who doesn't even live in Pennsylvania, and a literal Muppet, like, who are you supposed to vote for? I mean,
you can't
obviously
vote,
neither one of them are running for a reason other than Oz is only running because he has the name Oz. Let's face it.
But look, no, I don't doubt that. But running on name recognition, look, I'm not a huge, like, it's not like I'm like super big on Oz. Like, that guy's another doo-doo as far as I'm concerned. He's just less of a doo-doo than the psychos he's running again. The reality of the matter is, though, like, when you look at these people across the board, if they're feeding you, like, the idea that the Democrats, rather, when they knew he had this stroke and they knew that he was mentally incompetent to run, they didn't like plug in, like if you just plugged in another person who was mentally competent, the same sheep would herd to that. If they're willing to herd to someone who's literally as bad as Fetterman is, they would herd to that person too, would they not? So why not have somebody mentally competent? And then why not insist that as a Democrat voter? Like, why not insist that there's someone who can actually put a few sentences together in a way that actually says a point? Rather than knowing, watching him up there, dude, is almost cruel. It really is.
I think it's criminal.
But like, yet there he is. Like, they knew that this guy was completely. It's no different with Biden. It's not like we watched Biden during the campaign and felt like he had his wits about him. Like, you had to really freaking talk yourself into that if you wanted to believe that man really knew what was going on. You had to convince yourself of that. And it's like, if you know that these people are so in the tank, why not put the competent person in? And I can't help but think that they like it like that. like they prefer it like that. It's like, great. So now we can just spoon feed this guy and he can go up there, make a fool out of himself. It doesn't matter. His vote's going to be where we need it to be. We know he's not going to have a change of heart because he doesn't have enough mind left to really have a change of heart. So we'll just keep. I mean, AOC is another one. They bought and paid for her. And this is why I say I'm concerned about these little districts, because like they take somebody like AOC, she doesn't know anything about politics, world affairs, about anything. I mean, how many times has she been embarrassed on the floor of the freaking
If she's not reading a scripted thing, it sounds like ridiculous.
Right, exactly. That's my point, though. But like, it looks like that's what they're looking for, right? Like that's what and even AOC, her constituents blew up on her. There was that recent incident in a town hall where they were just killing her.
You blame that on MAGA Republicans.
Yeah.
Like we have time to go watch her.
I know, right? Like clearly you don't understand MAGA Republicans because we don't really watch your stuff there, sweetie. So Rubio's in, Scott is in. Those are two key seats here that are red.
I'm losing.
You're losing. What did you got the stats on that?
I have the early election stats. I don't have anything else.
So for those that don't know, Ruben is running for Board of Ed in Belleville, New Jersey, trying to unseat some of these critical theory folks. So here's Stamps. I can't relate to you here. You've lost me completely. Blue collar, nothing. Blue collar, white collar. The man is not mentally there. Like, and it's not like debatable. It's not like, oh yes, he is. No, you don't even get to say that. He's absolutely not.
I can't see.
So yeah, I dig blue collar folks too, but please,
George, you might lose me for a few minutes because I'm driving home.
Yeah, all good.
I'll jump back on.
But Mike, this is one of those comments that I'm talking about. Where like blue collar fat, like that's how we're gonna label him, blue collar. Like we're just gonna forget that he can't put sentences together. Like it's like what?
What makes him blue collar? The fact that he lived in his mom's basement with a hoodie playing video games for his entire adult life, never had a job, had everything handed to him on a platinum platter. Is that what makes him blue collar?
Oh my gosh, it is. That is what makes him blue collar. Today, for generations Y and Z, that kind of is blue collar. Like that's it, right? It's and he says, why not the same AOC standards for Herschel? I don't know what AOC standards you're talking about. The woman was look. She's demonstrated on the floor of the House that she doesn't know what she's talking about almost ever. She's been embarrassed on the floor of the House regularly to the point where she's some of these internet channels' favorite meme. I mean, it's like endless. So if Herschel gets elected and goes in there and straight up embarrasses himself and everybody he's associated with, yeah, he will be held to the same standard. You can bet. We just have the sample size on AOC, and we're pretty sure that ain't going to change anytime soon.
And at least Herschel knows what he's talking about.
Right. On issue, right? Like when he speaks on issues, the values that he holds are generally in line with what most Americans hold. And this is the thing about the teams, Mike, that drives me nuts. It's no longer this whole this is what a Democrat thinks. This is what a conservative, a Republican thinks. It's like, that's not even the case anymore. Like it's not like it's a totally different game right now. Like, yeah, our conservatives are pretty much all like real Christians conservative? Yeah, they are. But are all conservatives Christian? No. But in the same time, they're all constitutionalists. And that's where the Democrats are moving over to, like there are Democrats moving over to conservative side, but they're so embedded with teams that they can't do it mentally because they're like, I don't want to be on that team. But they see what's going on in their own party. But because this teams thing, this division is so in people's psyche, that even when the issue makes sense, like they can't bring themselves to come over. It's like we're not trying to like convert you to a religion, right? I mean, we probably would if we got to meet you, but in the end, it's not the point of conservatism. You know what I mean? That's just something that happens to be in line with most people who think conservatively. It's not like a requirement for the gig. these people are on their sides, and they won't let it go. And they look at these things that are crazy, like men having babies and transgenderism. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, everybody's a transgender. Like none of these things are getting questioned. And for those that are getting questioned, they won't. They'll still pull the D because they don't want to say, like, they'd rather pull the D and accept all of that madness than just say, wait, maybe we can all agree on certain things, right? Like maybe we can. And this is why I love convention of states, right? Because term limits, fiscal restraints on the government, and government overreach. No matter who you are, those are three very, very good sounding proposals that everyone can hang their hat on and move forward with.
Yeah, they're not partisan.
Right, but it's that division.
Issues.
It's that division that it's like if I even though those things make sense, if I believe in those things, then it's like I'm leaving my team and I'm like joining the other team and I don't want to be on there. It's like people can't get their minds out of that mindset, and it just drives me insane.
Well, the fact of the matter is that, look, we can disagree on issues like abortion. We can disagree on issues like gun control, but what we should never disagree on is our First Amendment right. And that's what we're losing right now, is our ability to have free speech. And it's being dominated, it's being influenced, and people are being shunned as a result of speaking their mind. And that has got to be apparent to so many people. And to me, it's kind of mind-boggling, guys, because how do you not see that? And how do you not recognize what party is leading that charge?
But when it's your party, that's the thing. When it's your party, you're like, oh, well, it's not like I haven't seen Republicans do similar kind of wacky stuff just to be in line. I mean, there are some Trump supporters who are off the edge. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump wasn't kidding when he was saying, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. and they'll still
let me go.
Like, there is a certain small sliver of that support group that would probably still vote for him. So like the mass formation, I guess, can work both ways. But in the end, these people, like that's a fringe piece of the voting bloc, as opposed to the vast majority of the politician, right?
Right.
Like, and that's like, it's not like these people are on the fringe on the left. Like, they're in power. Like, this is who's running. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's like when you see that, it's like, I don't understand it, right? Like, I mean, I understand it, right? I do videos on it all the time explaining how it works. It's just the point that, like, I don't understand it from the standpoint of not being in that mass formation and trying to wrap my head around it from the outside. It just doesn't.
You know what I don't understand, George? How I could have spent $100 on this chair, and I keep sinking lower and lower. And
I was going to say, Jack, we're going to lose you soon.
I know. My rear end is killing me. And it's like supposed to be padded that thick, and I just keep going down.
If I were a better producer, I would have like water going on the side, on the front of your.
I'm like the witch in the Wizard of Oz. I'm melting. I can't. I'm just keep on fading away. You keep seeing me duck, and I had to take a break before because my tailbone's killing me. It's supposed to have all this really nice padding.
You got to work from you. You got to be on your knees, Jack. That's it, or stand, one or the other. I don't know what the exact setup there is, but clearly the chair. You know, first of all, college beanies are not what you should be using at your age. Okay, you're too old for the college beanie. Okay,
no,
so
it's
like the IKEA furniture. It's time to invest.
It's a drum chair. It's a drum.
So how does that work? Did you gain weight, or like what's going on? But you know what I'm saying? Work with me.
No, I'm not gaining weight. I'm in a lot. Ooh, now I'm back up in the air again.
Look at you, all grown up.
All grown up, yeah. They grow up so fast.
So I'm looking at this. Wait, where did it go now? Damn it. I just had there was a section in here that was showing flips. like flipped seats, like just flipped seats. And now I lost it and I can't find it. But right now, the House of Representatives, as far as called races go, is 70-35 to Republicans. But there's a lot of blue that still has to. Like California's not in yet. I don't think New York is fully in yet. So we got quite a ways to go with that. And I don't know. I mean, we need to take over both of these. The only thing that's going to suck, and it's worth dealing with, is that we're going to spend the next 2 years on this, like Democrats. We're going to spend the next 2 years impeachment. We're going to try and impeach on this and impeach on that and impeach on this, and I'm like, I kind of like that impeachment thing to be left in the Democrats' realm, because it's just, number one, it's incredibly unappealing. And when you're doing it, they're never, even if they get an impeachment, they're not removing anybody from office. So it just, like Democrats, every single Republican that ever wins the presidency has an impeachment attempt on them. I think since Reagan, it's been everybody, right? Everybody, every single one.
Yeah.
Like there's always a call for impeachment on every single one. And I've always thought that it was so ridiculous and so lame and so whatever. And no one's ever been removed from office, and it's never going to happen. And I would like to see Republicans not go down that road, because I don't see it happening. Like I mean, it could, right? If we rock the Senate and the House today, like it could. But then, do we really think that? And even if it happens, right? Let's go down that road. What if it happened? Well, now we got Kamala Harris.
Right.
I honestly think these people are insurance policies rather than choices. Like Biden was that insurance policy for Obama. It was like, if you guys try to get rid of me, you know, well, look what I got. You know, like everyone's like, I don't know if I want Biden though. You know?
Did you happen to see the Obama on stage when he was? I don't know where he was, but they were just chanting about, let's go Brandon type thing again. And he could not get the crowd to stop.
There have been people at these, like Obama's been stumping for a lot of these people. And there have been people in the crowds that have been like screaming out and like calling him out on stuff. Like, that never ever happened to Obama. Like Obama, like, I don't know if maybe it's just a situation of them not vetting as well as they used to, but like that whole fever over that dude is kind of over now. Like he's not immune to it either anymore. Like the whole, the oceans didn't, stop rising and everything, all the stuff was going to happen. None of that stuff happened. And now everyone's like, all right, you're just one of them.
Except for Eric Hollowell. He's still in that camp.
Yeah, there's still some people are always going to be in that camp, and you're never going to be able to do anything about it. But I like the way we're getting some red colored in here. Up 71, the number's ticking in the right direction. So it was 70. But here in the Senate is where we really need to focus our energy. And then, do we have anything in Arizona yet for Kerry Lake? Because she's my big one. Like, she's the one that, like, if they manage if she manages to lose with the lead that I mean, even if polls are not that accurate, like a Republican doesn't lead polls by 11 to 15%. Like when they're not accurate always in a Democrat's favor, because Republicans tend to shy away from talking to pollsters and stuff. But she should be right at the top, right?
Should be.
Here she is.
Oh,
Still
there it
0.
is.
Yeah, they're scrambling around in Arizona, I think, though, like just trying to deal with the mess that is that started this morning. Yeah. As soon as it started this morning, I've been buried in work all day, and I've been trying to like touch base and keep track of this stuff a little bit. The only thing I kept seeing all day was Maricopa County, 20% of the boxes, 20% of the machines not working properly.
You know what was odd? So they had, a couple of their officials standing out there giving a press report. And they said, well, it's only 20% of the polling places, and it's not 20% of the machines. So we might have a place with 3 machines, and maybe one of them 10% of the time isn't working. And so he's throwing out all these arbitrary numbers. But what struck me about that? So here's their backup practice, George. All right. What he says is, if you walk up to the machine and you happen to be one of those people where you feed your ballot into it and it won't accept it, then the backup plan is for you to take that ballot and put it in a drop box right next to it. And after the polls close, they'll empty the drop box. A Republican and Democrat will come together, empty the drop box, and bring it down the hall to another machine to feed it in. And all I could think is, well, why wouldn't you just use the machine that's down the hall if that one's not working? Why are we waiting later to use the machine that works? Or if there's 3 machines in the room and one of them's a problem child, then, okay, it didn't work for you, try that machine. I don't know the answers to that, but it just certainly it raised the questions. And the funny thing is, I'm sinking again. The funny thing is that not one reporter wants to ask that question.
Jack, it might be easier for you to just turn your camera down a little bit instead of dealing with the seat. There you go.
But then it's looking down at me.
No one will ever look down at you, Jack.
Just pretend it's a Democrat.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, no doubt they're looking down on everybody. Illinois' governors went to Pritzker, who's in Illinois. I mean, when you look at the death rate there, you would think someone might be like, "Hey,
yeah,
maybe those of us in Chicago should pick someone else."
Yeah.
No thanks. Connecticut, they're down.
We like things the way they are.
Yeah, it's like Gavin Newsom. Newsom. I don't see California in here, which is kind of.
They called California yesterday.
Yeah, but it would still be in the list.
No, it was called yesterday. They took it out of the list. It's already done. It's already done.
Oh gosh. And then we got Florida, of course. DeSantis crushed in Florida. Why would you even run against DeSantis in Florida? He got Florida in freaking lockdown, dude. And actually, the exact opposite, right? Like, he has the election in lockdown.
What do you mean in lockdown? That's not the best analogy there, George.
I realized it right after I said it.
Well, I had to call
the election.
Anyway.
I meant the election.
Yeah, no, I know, but it still deserved a little rap on the head from me.
It did. All right.
Yeah.
So Maine looks like they've picked their governorship is going back left. It's only 10% in there. We'll see how that goes. Michigan is getting closer. So maybe Ruben had a point. Is Ruben, did he come back? No, right?
No.
He's still out? All right. I don't want to miss him when he comes back. Leave him in the waiting room for. He's gonna be sitting there.
He'll text you if he
I got
comes
something
back
to say.
Yeah, he's a hardcore East Coast guy. If you leave him in a waiting room, he'll figure out how to get a hold of you. He'll be calling your wife's phone. Yeah. George, Ruben won't leave me alone. Put him back in.
So Nevada's not in yet, and New York, the Doo is winning. So it's only 11% in those, so we don't want to overthink that either. Ohio's governor looks like it's going to be DeWine. So the governorships, I expect, I think you'll know where the governors are going to lose. Like, I think you can point those states out. Although I'm a little bit shocked at Pennsylvania. I thought Pennsylvania would. I still don't view Pennsylvania as a blue state. I have issues with that. Like, everybody I know in Pennsylvania, everybody I know that knows people in Pennsylvania, like, everybody's like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know where they are. You ask them about Fetterman, they're like, I don't know anyone. and maybe it's just that I happen to know people in areas that are that way, but like, it's just I guess Philadelphia, right, would probably make up a lot of it.
My friends are texting me now saying that with only 2% reporting that the Republican is about to concede the loss of governorship. I can't see how with only 2% reporting we're going to concede, but
I got the governors open now. They're 17.75% in.
Yeah, well, I just got it. When did this text come? I got this text 9:03, about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, so there's
But still,
I'm showing 17%, and then he's down by there's almost doubled. It's 64-33, but I guess it's going to depend on what counties are left. So they're probably looking at it like if all that's left to count is Philadelphia, let's say, right? Then they're going to be like, all right.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're going communist, and I'll be moving out of this state.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Mass
Pennsylvania
needs
is.
you. Cause needs you in Massachusetts.
Yeah, Cos needs you anywhere. So
Well,
wherever you end up, like that
he's
state will be.
He's got the contacts building in Massachusetts. You don't, and so.
Yeah, but you don't want to live in freaking the Soviets. You don't want to live with the Soviets just because. Like, at some point, you got to worry about your own livelihood, right? I say that in California. I'm so used to it here that it's like it doesn't even faze me anymore. I'm just like I feel like it's just all.
Look
all
where you
done
live.
before it
Your
happens.
everyday existence in California is not that way.
No, that's true. That's true. Where I live in California is not.
And a lot of places in California are just not that way. The everyday existence.
You can forget, right? You can convince yourself that it's not as bad as it truly is.
That's true. Yeah.
But
it's a nice day in hell.
Yeah.
Temperature's only 215 today. It's not boiling.
But it's a dry heat.
But it's a dry heat. I got to tell you, Mike. All right. So my mother was thinking about moving to Arizona at one point, and she used to call me and she'd say, Jack, we're thinking about moving to California, and I heard it's very hot, but it's a dry heat. What do you think? Well, so my mom was like, Billy Crystal's mom in City Slickers, where he'd answer the phone and he knew exactly what she was going to say every time. So my mom went through this about 10 times. I said, hey, Ma, I said, do me a favor. I said, go to your oven. I said, turn it on like you're going to cook a chicken. I said, walk away for about an hour. I said, then come back, open the oven, and stick your head in there. That's Arizona. I said, now you decide if you want to move there or not.
Hey, I'm looking at these House seats, man, and like on the Republican side, dude, L.A. Oh no, that's Louisiana. I thought they were saying a district in L.A. They're saying Louisiana, the state, but for the House, am I in the Senate?
I don't know. We can't see. You're hiding everything.
No, yeah, I thought it was districts for the House, but it's actually they're going whole state, so forget it. Although Virginia is in here, which is interesting. Let's see the list.
Yeah, put it up on a screen so we can all analyze it here.
So we got. Oh yeah, I thought I had it. My bad.
No.
So there's California's all zeros, so we don't know what's coming out of California. No. Colorado looks Democrat. Connecticut, of course. Connecticut looks like there's a little race going on there, though. Did they call it? They didn't call this one yet. So
those are districts, right?
Yeah. So it's Connecticut District 5. That's what I thought I was looking at on those other ones until I hovered over it and it said Louisiana. I was like, oh.
Got it.
I'm like, that's not what I really thought. So let's see. Anything else called? What do we got? There should be more than this, no?
You know what I find interesting? So take a look real quick. You were at Ohio, right? And right below that was Indiana. Now, last I remember, they're not too far away from each other. How is it that Ohio has 0 in some of those districts and Indiana is moving? Well, the ones you're looking at right now have reporting. before it was like a district in Ohio with zero reporting.
That happens sometimes because you just get incompetent people in that district who can't get the numbers out in a clean time frame. But this is what gets me about voting, though, and I'll never understand this, and it does always make me question the process. Is that how do people maybe these won't end this way, I don't know. But how do you elect? They just called the race for the Republican governor in Ohio. So who shows up to a poll and vote? So let's say your interests, you feel like they're represented by Republicans. Who shows up at a poll and votes for your interest for governor and then against your interest everywhere else down the line? Dorothy May Grantham here, Walsh says, is absolutely right. She says we need to get rid of the machines altogether. And I don't understand why that's so freaking difficult to do for any other reason than shenanigans. There's just no reason to need to the single most secure way to handle these process is every election cycle we hear it. Every election cycle. Oh, this machine is doing. These machines went down. This machine was a problem. Just get rid of the damn machine. It's not that hard. We've been able to count ballots by hand forever and have the results out the same night. And all of a sudden, we've all become idiots and we can't do anything. Oh, we got Ruben back. I just saw comments. Let me in.
Hey, I'm going to let Ruben take my place. I need to go get my my little snack, and then I gotta get to bed. I got a meeting.
You do that, Perky. All right, there.
All right.
We'll let you know what went down in Georgia. Don't worry. I got a feeling.
Never went down in Georgia.
Yeah.
I've got to go.
Oh, good. Yeah, Mike, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're on a schedule, so go ahead and hit up Cos. If you get any info there, though, on the local legislators, hit me up because I definitely want to share that.
Mike doesn't get any shit because he's leaving, but I got to get it.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Because I knew Mike had to go. You're just old.
You're going for a snack, you said.
That's true. A donut and some milk.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
All right, take it easy, Jack.
All right, take care.
Yeah, man. So it looks like right now, Republicans 77 in the House to Democrats 46. So that's, I guess, what they've called so far. So it does look good from that standpoint. I want to see the map here, though.
So, real quick, George, I have an announcement.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, I did not win my race. I lost it by about, I think I'm down by 300 votes with 2 districts left to report. So,
to the people of Belleville, you lost a good one.
You know what, bro? If I only lost by 300 votes and it cost them almost 20,000 to beat me by 300 votes.
That's truth, though.
You know what? I know I made them work for it. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And look, when you break it down per vote, right?
You know what the good part about me losing is, I think we've, I'm Catholic. I don't care what you are, and I recently put my daughter in Catholic school. And the good thing about what's going on in Jersey is it's going to have a longer lasting effect because Catholic school admissions are through the roof right now. And we're seeing it in a way that we've never seen in years in New Jersey. Like the school that's closest to us in Belleville is actually bursting at the seams and they can't handle it, especially in 7th and 8th grade. So if there is a silver lining, then here's to maybe more of our kids being raised with a little bit of faith, right? And 8-10 years from now, they won't be as easily persuaded as these.
God bless, man. That's what Yuri Bezmenov tells us. Is like the only way. Like you listen to these people. I mean, I am from Pennsylvania, but I know that Fetterman does not have his wits about him. So when I see these people in Pennsylvania commenting, and I don't even know that they're real people because I got all of these things showing up in my feed today. I posted that it was like batting practice. I just had all these freaking liberal organizations and posts hit in my feed, and I'm like, clearly there's nothing about me that says this is content that I would want to see. But like listening to it all was just crazy. Like listening to these people make these comments, like comparing Fetterman to Stephen Hawking. It's like, what? Like,
bro, it
the
honestly,
brainwashing is so deep, bro, and it works on both sides. But this is like next level. Like this is
and
I've never seen anything like this.
the problem is, and this is one reason, like when people want to argue that, like the democracy, that we're a democracy, and just shows how stupid they are. You know what I mean? And their total not understanding of form of government is like, and I can explain in New Jersey, like last year, our Senator Ruiz, her whole district is Belleville and Newark, and the Republicans just conceded it. We didn't even run anybody against her, and I think she got, she got about, I don't know however many votes she got, but in my county, Governor Murphy won by literally what he won by in my county was what he won the race by. And it's these cities like Newark and Camden and New York City and Westchester County. They can control it. Like you see how democracy doesn't work in a state like New York. You just do. You see how it just does not work in a state like New York. It's and it's terrifying that people want to bring that to the national level, because in New York, if you look at the county map of who won, of who voted, Cuomo might have won 6 counties. You know what I mean? But the counties he won have 8 million people in it. And that's what they were saying about Zeldin. Zeldin needed to carry 30% of New York to win. Now imagine that. He needed to carry he didn't even need to carry New York. He only needed to carry 30% of New York, and he was polling at 35%. So he only needed to carry 30% of New York to win.
We lost Ruben. I kind of heard that coming. I wasn't sure if that was just my speakers or if that was Ruben going down, but I'm sure he's going to pop back in here in a little while. And we'll look tomorrow. We're going to get on and really have the serious conversation about what the results were. Because let's face it, right? I think we all know what happens here, right? Like no matter who's winning at the end of the day, it's going to end up being some, it's going to end up being some. Oh my God! I can't believe it. Over the night, it happened. Ruben, we got you.
Making a really good point. I was making a really good point, and this
He's
is why
like all into it
to deal with these technical issues. But the New York City is a microcosm of why democracy doesn't work. Because the fact that this man only needs to carry 30% of New York City and he'll win the whole election just shows you that's just it's.
But when you say 30%, you mean 30% geographically?
No, if he gets 30% vote in all of New York City, he'll basically win New York State, because he'll have enough of the rest of the state to win the election. But New York City is just so many people that he'll lose the election if he gets less than 30% in New York City. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah. So
that's
on the bright side, it does look like the Republicans are gaining here. The Senate number has moved up. They're plus 11 in the Senate now. And the House is still going up. So it's up to 83 now. You need to get to 218 here if you can't see this. It's 218.
Yeah. California, what time is California closing?
Oh, geez. We're not going to be here for California's. We'll be here for a closing, but it's not. But I mean, tomorrow, if you have time tomorrow, you can come back on with me. I want to go over the results tomorrow, like the actual results when they get through all these friggin'.
And I want to get more into cars too, because now that I'm done with this election, and I really want to dive into cars. Like I was telling you, I'm going to go to that event next Saturday. Maybe take the kids with me, just see what it's about, meet some people, and
absolutely.
Like this election here is so important, especially in my district, because that Senator Ruiz is an evil person.
No, and I'm stoked, Ruben, that you're like really getting on the on the train here for cause because it like I know how you are, right? Like, and for anyone watching, you could tell Ruben just got done. He's the type of guy that runs for school board. He doesn't just complain that
Not only do
critical
I run,
theory. What's that?
not only do I run, I lose.
And then run again. So right now, I mean, look, it looks pretty tight. I mean, we got the number now up to 83 for the Republicans. Now, of course, that goes to the districts. I think they have a map somewhere here. No, that's not it. Where is it? There was a map. Here, map. So
Here's the map. Where's the map?
yeah, here's the map. It says map, and that makes it the map.
I got the GPS. I never need a map.
But you can see a lot of pink in here too. So when you factor in all this pink along with the red, it looks like it's trending correctly, at least to the way that most of the country thought that it was going to go. So in the end, at least the House taking the House. It would be nice to unseat Nancy Pelosi. Like that would be what's really going to be nice is when we call this damn convention of states that we remove Nancy Pelosi through term limits. That's going to, and Mitch McConnell and friggin' the rest of these doo-doo-doos that have been around for way too long, the Mitt Romneys and just get rid of them. Just get rid of them.
When I can't.
Dianne Feinstein, who's like, literally is like Diane Frankenstein right now. She's another one who doesn't have her wits about her and is just existing in that seat. And it's like these globalists just own these people.
Bro, Diane, I think, was at the last convention of states in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there were even reports of Chuck Schumer saying that she wasn't all there. Like he had to repeat stuff to her and he would explain something to her and 2 seconds later she would ask him a question that acted like she didn't hear anything he said, and then she made statements on the floor of the Senate that were like, what? Oh, you know what she did? She repeated she said something, she made a point and then stopped and then went ahead and made the exact same point again. And it's like why would anyone want to make excuses for people like that? Why would you want to make excuses for Fetterman? Why would you want to make excuses for Biden? Why would you not want to replace them with a different Democrat?
There's no more. And you know what? And Mrs. Cortez in the Bronx is the same way. There's people pulling the strings. There's no more true politicians. I truly believe that the fringe lunatics that we call the fringe lunatics, like the MTGs and people like that, they're the only real politicians left. Even some of the rhinos, and there's just people like the Cheneys. People are just paying them to run. They're paying them to run, and then they tell them which way to vote. They have no opinion. They have nothing to stand on. They never go across party lines. Mikey Sherrill is running for Congress right now in New York, in New Jersey, and he literally voted 99% of the time with Nancy Pelosi. And it gets often the thing, she gets on her commercials and says, I've worked across party lines. You have one vote where you cross party lines. And that was you probably named the post office. You know what I mean? It's like no true reporting. I mean, I think it's a GovPilot or something like that does a really good job that you could track your senators and your congressmen. I forgot what it's called. But it's on both sides. They're just puppets. And the people the Matt Gaetzes, these people we think of them as lunatics, but at the same time, they're the only ones that are willing to go against, they go like MTG, say what you want about her. You can say a lot about her. I mean, I don't agree with everything she says, but she goes against her own party. I mean, she's
AOC, you said?
Huh?
AOC?
No, MTG.
Oh, MTG. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not gonna come up here and say I agree with everything she says, but she has pulled votes where, because if you ever watch CNN, they say all the ayes, nay.
That's like Tulsi Gabbard, right?
She's but my point is, like, MTG has pulled votes where she actually said, "Can we actually go through and see the actual votes?" Because they put the votes in on the floor, right? They put them in the little box, so they press their little button, and then right before they don't even count those votes. They'll just go up and say, "Aye, okay, the motion passes." And then they just pass the motion without ever actually reading the votes. And there's times where MTG will be like, "Can we pull those votes?" And you'll see that Republicans that said aye actually voted nay, or vice versa. You know what I mean? And it's like, we don't even know what's going on. We don't even know what's
Right.
going on. And that's why you get the Fetterman. That's why you get Biden. That's why you get AOC, because they're just actors. AOC was an actress. She had a movie reel. She was working as a bartender in New York City. That's all you need to know. Because the only people I worked as a bartender in New York City, and everybody but me was an actress or an actor. I mean, it became a joke where people were like, "This isn't what I really do. I'm an actor." And I was like, "Well, for the next hour, can you act like a waiter and get this drink to your damn table?" You know, so you know that if anybody that worked in New York City, 95% of the chance, somewhere in their mind, they wanted to be an actor or an actress. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, that's the
I
same in
told you
LA. More so in LA,
I
actually.
told you I was on that call with. I jumped on their calls, and they said we could get anybody elected, just like we did Alexandria. You know what I mean? And God bless
Right.
her. In her defense, she does a really good job. She does a great job on her social media. She does a great job in community outreach. I personally know somebody who's a good friend of mine who works with her a lot. She comes out, she shows up. She
Who's this,
does
AOC?
she does. She does. I'm not agreeing with her politics. I'm saying she does a good job playing the part. She shows up. She's at ball games. She's there. You can laugh all you want, but this is what people see, George. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you.
like she doesn't. You think she has an idea what she's voting on? You think she's allowed to? Let's say tomorrow she realizes the Green New Deal is a bad idea. You think she would get up there and say, "Hey, you know what? I've had to change my mind." They put a bullet in the back of her head and call it a suicide.
That's kind of my point.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm a little frustrated because I just lost to 3 of those people. You know what I mean? Who are literally actors.
Well, but that's kind of the point, though, right? And this is why you want to This is why you want to be. Look, the bottom line for me, I look at these elections, and yeah, I want to see the House and Senate turnover, because I want to see some blockade to what the globalists are doing. Right. And right now, that's the only thing from an election standpoint we can control is the House and Senate. Of course, our state legislatures are important to me. And I'm hoping Mike gets some information regarding convention of states legislators, because I'm really hopeful that, because it doesn't matter that they're Republican or not. If they've been brainwashed by John Birch Society, they're going to, there's a whole process that has to take place to get them back onto the right side of history. But that being said, if we can get some significant movement in the state legislatures in some states, because look, that's in the end, that's where the change is going to happen. It's not 2024. Like 2024 doesn't matter who wins the presidency. The border may be in better shape after that, but every other major issue facing this country is not going to change. Whether DeSantis gets in, Trump gets in, whoever gets in, those things are the fiscal restraints. There will be no fiscal restraints. It just won't happen. Right? That's what I mean. Those 3 issues, to me, and the precedent, really the precedent, but those 3 issues will do more to help put America on the right path than the last 20 presidents combined. And it doesn't come from an elected official. It comes directly from us. And that's where, my head, when I think of these things, and I say it all the time, it's all noise. like everything out there to me is noise. When I hear, oh, they want to pass this bill, or they want to, can you believe that they're doing this or they're doing that? And I'm just like, yeah, I can believe it. Because that's what they do, right? So that's why would anyone be shocked that Pelosi or someone like that is doing something crazy, right? Because it's what they do. So it's like, well, then how do we fix this stuff, right? So I'm really, I'm gonna try and reach out, because I know Mike is jumping on the Cos broadcast now. So and I was hoping he'd come on here after that, so I could get the skinny on what's going on over there. But in the end, look. Long story short, man, I'm glad that you're done with your election. I'm sorry that you lost it, but I am glad that you're done with it, and I am fired up that you're on the side of Cos because
I
you're the
like
kind of person.
running for New Jersey Senate against Senator Ruiz next year.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? That'd make you even a more powerful ally.
Bro,
So
come in here and stab me, right? You would just see Jamie's, like, remember in The Simpsons when, like, they grab Bart, pull me in my neck, and
that'd be it. It'd be Clayton's, I tell you, Clayton's. Yeah, and you know what though? That's what I'm hopeful for. I mean that's what I'm more interested in. I want to see Carrie Lake win because I just love her and I just think that she's good for anywhere that
am I
she,
drink on a podcast? Is it like TV?
What's that?
Am I allowed to drink on a podcast? Is it like TV?
I don't know. We'll find out when the Gestapos come down here and be like,
Well,
we
I
haven't
know.
really said anything controversial. So, although I probably should take this off of YouTube the second we're done in case they interpret something as,
Yeah.
they'll be like, what you said can kind of sort of sound like you think there's election fraud. You're out of here.
You know what I
Yeah,
am proud about?
and that'll happen a month from now.
You know what I am proud about my election is they spent all this money. You ever watch this show? What's that show where they go to abandoned storage units? You ever see that?
There's a few of them, ain't there? It's like Storage Wars or something.
Storage Wars, yeah, that's the thing. And there's certain guys that are like, I'm not gonna buy this unit. I'm just gonna make him spend a bunch of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I did because like I honestly ran with nothing except some Facebook ads. A lot of my Facebook friends like shared my things. I mean, I run a couple town pages, parent pages and stuff like that. And like I would put a post on a parent page, and like an hour later there would be a sponsored post by them, and I'm like, haha, you just spent $10. You just spent $10. And then I would put a post out and it would get a couple hundred comments, because I put stuff out just to rile people up. I'll be like, oh, school uniforms are going away. And then you get like, I could put a post. Here's the thing about my town. I could put a post about scores. Our scores are down. I get 12 comments. I put a post about, oh, school lunches are horrible. I get 170 comments. And I'm like, you need to send your kids to school with food,
Yeah, the whole lunch thing, I'm still a little perplexed by. Like it used to be, even in case of that, right? It used to be kids got lunch if they were like on welfare or if there was like some, but they give it to everybody now.
Well, not anymore. There was for the last
you get
2
a burger. You get a burger.
Everybody free. Now we're charging again. Finally.
Well, they should because it costs money. I don't know. Pack your kids a peanut butter and jelly. You can't even pack them a peanut butter and jelly because all this poisonous food we've been eating for so long. Now there's kids with peanut allergies everywhere.
Actually, peanut allergies have gone down during COVID.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
How do we know? Because there's no.
Yeah.
And so did the flu.
The kids that were dying from peanut allergies, they called it COVID.
Yeah, the flu. Yeah, the flu went down too, though. So there were some good things that came of that. So just recapping here, we got the governors. For the most part, looks like the governorships are going in the key states: Ohio, right? So New Hampshire, South Carolina. You knew that. Texas, you knew that. I don't think there was any shock.
I got to start to wrap up, bro. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap up as well because in the end, like sitting here trying to wait for all these results to come through would be like ridiculous. My eyes really are on and
you know what's funny? I didn't want to know my election results tonight, and my friend who's helping me out, and she was at the event where they were live sharing it. She was like, "I'm going to tell you," and I was like, "All right." She was like, "You don't want to know?" And I was like, well, it's kind of like the Powerball. You know what I mean? Like, I don't check my Powerball at nighttime, because I'd rather go to bed rich and wake up poor. You know,
Somebody won that, man. Somebody won that not far from me, I think.
yeah, in the worst
Kind of
state
kicking
to win.
myself for not friggin'. I know. I gotta get banged the hardest. But you know what? It was so much money though that like even at the 50% take, it's gonna be like friggin'
Well, the funny thing
900
is
million.
one of the reasons
I don't even know if this
one of the reasons it was so
like
high.
that might be enough for a lotto person to not go bankrupt.
One of the reasons it was so high is because interest rates are high. So the way it is it's an annuity. So it gains the same interest as it's like a reverse mortgage kind of. You know what I mean? It's like that's why we're seeing records being set every single time is because as the interest rates go up, the amount you're going to get as an annuity goes up. That's why, like, you see it as 2.9 million. It's really 750 million, which in California, 750 million after taxes comes out to what, like $8.75 or something like that.
You get a bag of potato chips and a pack of bubble gum. If you're a shrewd negotiator, you'll get a beer with it. But like
4 chicken wings and fried rice in a nickel bag. The Ozone Park
tank
special.
of gas, right?
All
Tank
right,
of gas, but it's 87 octane.
I'm gonna let you wrap it up so I can say
Oh
goodnight.
man. Yeah, go ahead, Rube. Go ahead. I am going to wrap it up
I'll talk
because
to you
I think
tomorrow.
we are. It will be on till 4 a.m. if we try and really like
All right, I'll talk to you
execute
tomorrow
this
night.
where I want to actually see the results. Yep. So, and for
Tomorrow
those
night
on, we'll
have
be
a
on
better
tomorrow
picture
night.
and start planning 2023 and the state races and who we need to find out who's an ally or who's not an ally.
Absolutely, and yeah, we're going to be looking into that. I am going to be switching over personally to the Cause channel to see if they're still rocking. I think they're going on till like 10 o'clock.
Maybe
So if you haven't, if you're still looking for open discussion, the Convention of States YouTube channel is probably their Facebook and Rumble as well. Will also be will also be broadcasting right now. So you can go over there and check it out. I'm going to be watching it just to see if anything breaks as far as a local local election that moves into Cause's favor. But until then, I appreciate all of you. We're 700 followers away from the 10,000 follower mark. So I know I've been a little slow on the videos lately. Things have been a little bit crazy at work and the holidays and everything else, but I will be coming back at you with some quality stuff coming up. And then stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll have this conversation. Bring your comments. We'll have this conversation once we get some of these dead of night victories that I expect will be coming up. Hopefully they don't, but we'll see what happens. And until then,